Hello, hello everybody. Got another great guitar here today. You're just in time for the tuning song. I mean, if you're gonna buy a guitar, you should probably see if it tunes up right. I'm of the camp where you tune down and then up to the pitch. Don't know if everybody does that. Hey, we're there. Anyway, so here we got a 1975 Guild F-30 Sunburst. Very cool guitars. Very deep guitars. Mini jumbo sized. This model is like the in-between. I think it goes F20, F30, and then F50, I believe. And then, you know, they're all just, they denotes the level of bling, I guess, each one gets. Like the F50 is real fancy looking to me. Nice square mother of pearl inlays on the fretboard. I know these guitars can be made with different woods. This one is your standard, you know, spruce top, mahogany back and sides. I've seen these with Brazilian rosewood, for example. Just really cool guitars from the same era. If you know any history about Guild, I believe they were originally based out of New York. I might be wrong about that. Maybe it was Rhode Island, somewhere back east. Wait, let's see. What does it say in here? Oh, no. Yeah, I think they originally were in New York City. And, I'm getting some weird phasing here with my voice bouncing off the top. And, the earlier models were built there, and then they moved to Westerly, Rhode Island. This is a Westerly, Rhode Island guitar. I know some people argue that, you know, the older factory's better, yada, yada, yada. I'll let the sound let you decide. You can hear I need to work on building on the low ground. And I've been making enough of these videos. You get to hear all my mistakes, because I'm not going to reshoot a video just because I flubbed it. Anyways, what can I say about this guitar? Right now it's strung up with nickel. D'Addario, I think the EJ22s is the model, or the type of string. I like the way they sound when they deaden a bit. These ones are still relatively fresh, so they're kind of zingy sounding. A little zingier than I would like for flat picking. But once these strings deaden up, they sound really good, and they last a long time. They're kind of my like, oh, I want to throw a pair of strings on that guitar, and I want it to last. I don't want to restring that particular guitar. I already restring my dreadnoughts like weekly, you know, because that phosphor bronze, you want it to have that zingy sound, especially when you're playing bluegrass, which is what I mostly play. And this guitar in particular, great versatile guitar. You got a guitar here Excellent finger picker. It really captures that like boxy sound. Action's great. I bought this guitar right after it had been set up. New a neck reset, new frets. They did a really good job with all that. In the description, I put a little bit more about the work I did to this guitar, and the bridge was starting to lift when I bought it. And I kind of noticed it, and I kind of didn't care because I knew I could fix it. It was one of my earlier repairs, though. So, unfortunately, I did not use hot glue on it. Which now, you know, once you use hot glue, you never go back because it really is an amazing glue. But Titebond works just fine for a bridge reglue. Great finger picker, great flat picker. I play this in my bluegrass band. Every now and then I'll bring it. Hangs just fine with a full band, you know. Not as much power as you'd want as a Dreadnought would deliver. And that's probably one of the reasons I'm selling it. I just don't play it. I do play it at company Christmas party because it's got a piezo undersaddle pickup. So nice and clean, easy. Plug that into the amp. Run it through my DI pedal. Don't need a mic kit. And then, you know, just a dynamic cardio microphone for vocals. And it sounds great, you know. So it's got all that going on. Super versatile. Will do whatever you want. Smaller body, looks cool, sounds great. This guitar does have pretty narrow nut. It is slightly smaller than 11/16. The exact measurement will be in the description because I haven't measured it in a while and I forgot. But it is definitely just not quite at 11/16. So if you prefer those smaller nuts, this is a good guitar for you. I actually don't know what the string spacing is on this guitar. Just looking at it, it looks like 2 1/4, probably somewhere thereabouts. It's an X-brace guitar, pretty heavy bracing, but X-brace, so it's very rich, nice and lush. A lot of guilds I play feel muted, just like, because I think they, in this era, used pretty heavy bracing techniques. And that makes the sound suffer just a little bit. It's a different kind of sound, you know. I could argue the pros and cons of heavier bracing versus lighter bracing all day, because you want the top to vibrate, you also don't want it to fall apart. And heavier bracing, you could push it a little harder depending on how well the bracing is done, you know. Anyways, just gonna capo up the neck a bit. Maybe try to play some tunes I haven't played in a while with the flat pick. Right now using an acrylic, what is this? Honey Picks pick. I think from their bluegrass package like a year ago. went and saw David Greer play. Went to his workshop, trying to incorporate a lot of what he said. You know, all about the melody of a fiddle tune or whatever you're playing. Add those small things to fill the space, like, you know, instead of just try to keep that bottom, in this case, that bottom C sharp pedaling in the background, you know. You know, and I'm trying to do the same with that A flat. And then go back. Fill up the space. That's what he calls it, filling up the space. Nice bright sound, very even. And as I was saying, most guilds have a muted feel to them. This one is nice and open, and the reason is you can see it in the top. Whoever owned this before me, as one of our locals here put it, Dan down at the Buy and Sell Center here in Eugene, Oregon, he said, well, whoever played this wrote it till it was, what was it? Wrote it hard and put it away wet, as the expression goes for cars. So, talking about a little bit of the aesthetics, not the aesthetics, talking about just the appearance of the guitar. So, yeah, look at the top. Chewed up, right? Well, that's all pick damage. Whoever played this, super heavy strummer. Absolutely wild. Cutting it up. That's good for you as somebody who's going to play the guitar next, because all that playing, vibrating at top, it opened up the guitar. And guilds are they're more muted and closed, so they need that opening up. You know, a good guild has been played to shit. Pardon the language, but it's true. And all this wear here, the pick wear around the pick guard, there's no cracks. This guitar has no cracks in it. It's just a little bit of wear in the top. And if you feel it, it feels actually kind of cool. It's just these undulations in the top of the wood. So you know, some people think it's beautiful. Some people might say, oh, that's an ugly guitar. I think it's badass looking. It's got a great sound. I picked this guitar after going to Sylvan Music in Santa Cruz for the first time. Probably hung out for 2 hours. Went straight for the Callings. Went straight for the Santa Cruz guitars. Played a few Goodalls, played a few Eastmans, because why not? You know, sometimes Eastman can sound great. Played a few Martin Authentics. They had a D28 Authentic there. Oh, sorry, it was a D18, a 1939 D18 Authentic. Awesome guitars, all wonderful sounding, and I was like, cool, you know. This kind of was, and then I was on my way out, and then I saw they had a vintage room. Went in there, played all their Martins. Was not super impressed with any of they had a bunch of 50s and 60s era Martins in there, and a few Gibson eras. And then I was just about to leave, and then I saw two guilds. One was a 1965, and the other one was this one in 1975. This one immediately stood out to me because the 60s era guilds have a real square shoulder. And to me, aesthetically, don't like the square shouldered look on a jumbo guitar. It's just too something. But the 70s, they kind of brought that in a little bit more on the top. And it looks a little bit more feminine, if that's the word you could describe it with, to me. And just this body shape is so cool. I'm in love with the Harmony figure eights, if you're familiar with those from the 40s. Very similar. They aren't as deep, you know. They're a little bit more shallow, but this is very reminiscent of that. And I picked this one up, strummed it, and I was like, this is one of the better sounding guitars I've played today. So, you know, put this up against $8,000 Martin D28, D18 Authentics. Different kind of guitar, of course, but you know how it is. You go play a lot of guitars, and sometimes one just speaks to you. And this one was one of those. Just super sweet, sweet sounding guitar. Nice and balanced. Good low end. Oh, gotta fill that space. Easier to do with open strings, right? And resolve the G. Why not? Do a little bit of harder flat picking. I might move away from the mic a little bit. Super hot. Anyways, nice versatile guitar. Not a bluegrass flat picker's first pick. You know, if we got into dreadnoughts right now, dreadnoughts just boom. That's what you want. That's what I play. But if you're looking for something versatile, something cool, something retro, and is ready to go, fresh work, this is a good guitar for you. Good price too for a nice vintage guitar. Let's check the intonation. I always like to do that with these videos because nothing worse than getting a guitar that's not well intonated. The A is pretty much spot on. Here comes the hard one, the low bassy. Usually is a little sharp. Oh no, that's good. So yeah, this guitar is good to go, ready to find a new owner. And I'll miss it, but I'm not gonna miss it much because I don't play it enough. Like I said, I only really play this thing once a year for the company Christmas party. And sorry, in the middle of that I switched to a blue chip pick, so for you pick nerds out there, you may have heard a little bit of a difference. Blue chips are a little smoother sounding to me. Here's that acrylic pick by Honey Picks. Really nice, affordable picks. A little bit more clack. A little sharper sounding. I make cassine picks. You know, you can buy cassine, raw cassine, shape it into a pick. Cassine to me is my favorite. Kind of an in-between, good clack, not as bright. And then, you know, some of you might be familiar with Nick from Apollo. He makes great picks. Here's another one of his cassine picks. His finishing work is just extraordinary. This one's very bright. It's got pretty sharp. It's got a right-hand bevel and pretty sharp tips. All those other picks had no bevel, neutral bevel, and rounded tips. Alright, well, about time to wrap this one up, huh? We'll do a little Coulter Wall, I guess. Since to me this is a country guitar. You can see the bare paws and the old man's back. The prickly pears are blooming in the short native grass. There's an empty bunch there's a bunch of empty beer cans in an old loose metal sack to give you some idea of where you're at. And now, if you guys can hear that, I can hear it, and I'm still learning how to use this microphone. I can hear some phasing, and I'm like, what? Where's it even coming from? I have one microphone source, you know? So the only thing I can think is if I'm looking down at the guitar, there must be some kind of reflection happening here and hitting this. So I'm curious, pardon of the sound, curious if I lift this up a little bit and go a little bit more for the center here and hold the guitar as straight as possible. You could see the bare paws in the old man's back. The prickly pears are blooming in the short and native grass. There's a bunch of empty beer cans in an old loose metal sack to give you some idea of where you're at. Buckbrush and sage, as far as I can see, on the south slopes of the hills turn the pine and poplar trees. Cattle on them grazing up and down the big coulee under Charlie Russell skies like a blue and purple sea. Cypress hills and the big country below where life is still and a man can be alone. You could duck underneath all your trials and troubles for a time, like a pronghorn underneath the bottom wire. Oh yeah, nice country guitar for sure. Phasing issue is definitely better there. Yeah, these ear trumpet microphones are great. They pick up everything. So anyways, thanks for watching, and as always, what am I trying to always say here at the end of the video? Be safe and always be looking out for a good guitar.